Hello, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Leon Legree podcast, episode 117 of the Leon Legree podcast. I am your host, Leon. And so today we're going to be talking about some news, some stories that came out since last week. We definitely have good news, and then we have some actually plenty of good news, actually, I would say from last week. Even though there hasn't been a lot of activity on the news world, especially with one bad news coming from Google, and the good news is that there's going to be an investigation for antitrust things that Google has been brought up. So I think in this sense, yeah, we're going to be seeing some thing opening up. So we're going to go ahead and look over on today's news. So before I do, I want to just go ahead and let you listeners know uh, one of three things. Just want to let you know now before I get started. I want to just bring up your attention. So if you're like me, bringing up or trying to start an idea or of a podcast of your own or whatever this is that you've had in mind, because honestly though, if you have an idea for a podcast, I say do not wait, because the more you kind of stumble or ponder on the idea of making a podcast, one of the things you should do is start getting an idea and be realistic what you want to do for your podcast. Now, before I continue with my show, I want to just go ahead and bring you one of the three sponsors I'm going to just announce before I continue. And one of the three, I wanted to announce that for anyone that doesn't know or haven't listened to my previous podcasts already, which right now I am a Blubrry affiliate. And now, if you don't know what Blubrry is, it is a hosting provider that you can post up all your media, such as your MP3s. And the best thing about it is that it is easy to use, and as always, it's it's been around within the podcasting world for a very long time, and plus hosting it is not a lot of money nowadays. So, and it is Blubrry only costs you around $12 a month for hosting your podcast, and I think the price is very reasonable um, for Blubrry, and also that it does have a WordPress plugin so that you can go ahead and give it yourself a try. So if you want to try out Blubrry and its plugin, which is for free, it comes with your WordPress just like that as well. So it's absolutely amazing. I've tried the Blubrry plugin. They make it really easy to for anybody to use on your website. Not bad at all. I recommend trying out Blubrry. It is $12 a month if you use the affiliate link down below on the description. You can go ahead and sign up right now, and which if you do, yeah, that also supports me as well. If you go to my affiliate code and use my code down below, LLG Pod, and I'll have it all linked down on the description, so that way you guys can sign up. And then the other affiliate one just mentioned is another hosting provider I'm currently with right now, which is called Podbeam. Podbeam has been around the space uh, since 2006, hosting people's podcasts ever since. And I like the Podbeam for many other reasons, which for one, it is really reliable. There's not any downtimes on Podbeam, and Podbeam has been around in the space for a good long time, probably since almost the very beginning when podcasting came out, close enough too. And I will say, it is absolutely fantastic. The prices are very reasonable to start off. You do get when you sign up onto the link down below in the description. You can use 30 days free of no charge. After 30 days, it's going to cost uh, 14 bucks a month. However, customer service, it is really good. I definitely recommend checking their stuff out as well. The customer service is great, and I love the email communication back and forth, and they don't waste any time. So, and that's the one beauty I do love about the Podbeam is they're always up and active. So, woohoo! And also the best part is they've had this feature for a while now, since about a year or two ago now. And so they've actually just came out with a live stream, which the live stream is really good. I've actually listened to other people's live stream in Podbeam. It's not bad at all, and it does work well enough too. But overall, they're still improving live streams each and every year, so not bad. Go ahead. What you're waiting for? Take a look, and last but not least, go ahead and check out Virtual Shield. Virtual Shield, I have tried in the past as well. And if you sign up with the affiliate link down below on the description, you can go ahead and give Virtual Shield a try. And if you signed up and right after 30 days, you'll end up not just supporting me, but you're also helping yourself in the future as well, keeping yourself safe in the digital world of all the bunch of crazies looking into other people's bank accounts and privacy. And I do not want anyone to be a victim of this. And please, please, please go ahead and check out Virtual Shield. I've tried Virtual Shield in the past, and I do recommend anyone checking this out, and so should you. So what you're waiting for? Check out Virtual Shield. It's it is 30 days of free trial, and if you don't like it, you can just unsubscribe from there on too. So, anyways, that's about it. These are my three sponsors I want to just mention. And anyways, let's get on with the show. Unlike my usual programming, I figure I cut the intro really short this time around, only because I felt my intro is way too long, and I figured let me just get on with the chase, get on with the topics of today's story. So that was my reasoning to cut it short on like previous episodes for anyone that doesn't know and pretty much have checked out my introduction. Now, if you're a first time listener, yeah, so I don't have a proper introduction, and now I'm actually going back to creating something very fresh, new, like pretty much a fresh new intro, just because I don't like the sound of the intro I did previously. So I'm gonna just put a shorter intro instead. But yeah, so this week I'm gonna try and work on something fresh out of the oven, and create something new. So today we're gonna go ahead and talk about a few things that came in since yesterday, and actually one thing that came out from the podcasting world. And this story is coming out of Android Police. So we're gonna get into it right now. And here in where it says headlined, Google clears podcast ad mob policy violation once again, and which is written by Ryan Whitworm, and he writes here: Google has an annoying habit of pulling the rug out from under Android app developers. It's a story as old as Android. Someone at Google decides an app violates some policy or another, and the developer has to scramble to figure out how to comply with the eccentric app guidelines. The latest victim is Podcast Addict, an app that has been in the Play Store for nearly a decade. Google recently decided to block most ad mob ads in the app because people can download gasp adult themed podcasts. Won't someone please think of the children? So I like how he starts to this guy starts to write his own take on this story. But anyways, it's actually kind of this story. It is kind of funny because I think Google hasn't even done this even till recently, and I there and here we go again with Google. Now this time they are going to start taking out app third party apps on there. And so let's continue reading. Several weeks ago, Google flagged Podcast Addict for hosting explicit content and blocked almost all of its ad mob display ads. According to the developer, Podcast Addict was self-rated as teen in the Play Store because of the wide range of podcasts available listed under health and sexuality. That wasn't enough for Google. Apparently, the app lost 99.9% of its ad impressions and revenue. The remaining tenth of a percent comes from ads rated for mature content. And then it continues on in the article. Obviously, podcast ad isn't producing any adult themed content. Podcast, it only lets users access what exists out there on the internet, not unlike Google's own Chrome browser or numerous other podcast apps that still have Google ads. Wow, calling that bizarre and hypocritical. But anyways, coming from a big multi-billion-dollar company, Google admits no violation. Google contacted the developer about an hour after our story went live to confirm there was no prohibited content in podcast ad. The ad that support the development of the app should be working again soon. While we cannot confirm Android Police spirit Google to action. So yeah, so there we go. So just to clear this off right here right off the air, I've I've actually haven't heard about it since very recently. So, and actually, this is news that came official on podnews dot podnews.net. So there we go. Here's my thing about this. I think probably they may have had done this through an error. Who knows? Who freaking knows about this? But again, I think the whole way you're doing this, it is pretty bizarre. And let's just hope that this was not just a minor mistake coming from Google, or probably it's just from the developer on its own. So, and again, we don't know. We just gonna have to speculate this was just a mistake on Google's end and continue and find out right there. However, it is quite of a big deal because there's a lot of people that does use Podcast Addict as your main hosting, or not hosting, excuse me, main podcast app to for all their podcasts and have it stored right there. I also, just to confirm, that I have used podcast app from the beginning. I don't think it's a bad application on its own, and to me, I don't see the app violating any terms of service whatsoever. But again, you may have, like I've said, may have been just an error on Google's part to doing this. But however, I'm sure this was no big deal, and they were like, "Oh, hey, this this was just our fault, my bad, yo." But so then, in the article, actually, funny enough, it just started to update, and then now it says resolved again. Uh, Jermaine wrote back to tell us that Google's review conducted that his app did not violate policy. Fortunately for him, his time around, he only had to wait literally 1 day for Judgment Day instead of 3 months. Wow. Okay. That's really good though. So I know this is not the first time Google has pulled out an application or done something fishy. Now I'm sure that we've seen previous violations with Google, and let's just not hope this is just a minor mistake on the company's end, a minor mistake. But again, that application has been around for a very long time. I don't know how the app was violating any policy, nor I think Google described. There was no description of how they were to do how they were violating any policy whatsoever. But again, I'm gonna just move down along to say this was just an error on their own. On with the next story on today's news, and actually, this was actually yesterday's news, but we're going to go ahead and play a bit of catch up, anyways. So this is coming from the Mac Rumors, which this is a news article that goes on talking about Mac and Apple products of all things. So we're going to go ahead and get right into the story here, which says in the headlines Apple details safety measures when reopening Apple retail stores, including curbside pickup and drop off option. All right, so and just letting you guys know that for those that haven't heard, especially early today, looks like we're seeing more states gradually reopening right now, which is a good thing. I'm actually have to say I'm happy. I'm sure a lot of people are very anxious to get on with their lives, get out, get in the sun, and plus we're now starting to feel 75 75 Fahrenheit degree weather. So it's going to be very, very hot and it's going to be a good time to you get out, do some shopping and whatsoever, right? So we're going to go ahead and get on to the story, which states here Apple Senior Vice President of Retail and People uh, Desire O'Brien today published a letter regarding Apple approach on the reopening of retail stores. O'Brien mentioned that over 100 stores globally have already reopened their stores. And then it continues on from there. A, oh, excuse me. It continues on from there. The letter notes that when a store does reopen, face coverings will be required for both Apple employees and customers. Apple will also be providing face coverings to those who do not bring their own. In addition to face coverings, temperature checks will be taken at store entrance, and posted health questions will help in screening one who may have been exposed to COVID-19. O'Brien also mentions that deep clean on surfaces, display products, and highly trafficked areas will take place frequently throughout the day. Customers who do enter Apple's retail stores will have plenty of space. According to O'Brien, Apple will be limiting occupancy in each store, which will help in renewing Apple's focus on one-on-one personnel services at the Genius Bar and throughout the store. O'Brien also details Apple's approach to serving its customers more efficiently as an alternative to entering some physical stores. Customers can expect to see curbside pickup and drop off options. As usual, customers can continue to place orders online for an at home delivery after opening its first U.S. stores last week. Apple will continue to reopen the U.S. stores on a gradual basis, which is, I would say, it's very good. With now things starting to slowly open again, which this is sign of some news right here. And let me just put it into quick perspective what I see about this, which is a very good thing for a company like that. And one of the many things I will say, I hope that many computer stores or independent computer outlets does follow up on this. And I'm sure that many stores are starting to follow up on this, which I know a lot of things are starting to change throughout with our own post COVID-19 situation. Now, however, it's good that many people have complied to this, and thankfully they are. Which at some point, here's my personal take on this is those companies have to make money, and to at some point in some degree people are going to have to start shopping and probably go out and start purchasing computers. And I'm sure there's people out there that's going to need to look into purchasing computers, because can tell that so many people are definitely going to start shifting their thinking. Instead of working over at a physical location, a lot of people are going to have to start looking into working remotely, which Here's what I'll say. I hope many companies will start to look into this and say, hey, we could probably save a lot more money instead of having a corporate office somewhere else. Which I would say, for the most part, that would be probably a good thing. But time will tell, because I'm sure many people may not see this as a positive. Maybe others will think, okay, who knows how this is going to work when people are working remotely, or how serious people will take when people are working outside of a corporate office, and how people will take it seriously. Either way, time will tell how things will go from Apple. And but yeah, like I've said before, I do hope that things will follow up what Apple is doing, and other PC stores are going to continue on moving forward. Anyways, guys, let me know what your takes on it. If you write down a comment down below on the Podbeam comments down below, or if you like to send me an email, I'll have the email posted down in the description below, so that you can tell me what do you think of all this and what's been going on from here too. I'll most definitely go ahead and read your letters down below. So continue on, moving forward to the next story. This time, it's another Google story. Last and not least, with today's story, we're gonna go ahead and drop off a quick story up on Google, which this may be big news coming from the tech sector here too. Also, if you enjoy what you've listened to, please make sure to rate me down below wherever you're listening to, whether it's Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever you're listening to me on. Please be sure to hit a review. If it's good, 5 stars will be awesome. If it's not, let me know why down on the reviews below. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and get on to Google may face a huge antitrust lawsuit from U.S. government and states this year. Well, which I hope this gets through, and let's see where this goes from here. Which in this article states here from Android Authority, Google's parent company Alphabet is coming under fire from the U.S. Justice Department and various state authorities with the potential for new antitrust lawsuit. So this may be big news, and this is news I'm going to follow up in the upcoming months. So let's continue on forward. According to a report from the Wall Street Journal, both the Justice Department and a group of state attorneys are deep into planning for litigation. Google's latest antitrust compliance. The primary focus of the various state attorneys' investigation is Google's online advertising business. The issue is that the company owns essentially every part of the complex process between online publishers and advertisers, which is where the antitrust label comes into play. As for the Justice Department, the department's investigation, it's more focused on Google's dominant search business. The DOJ is investigating whether or not Google uses that dominance to smoother its competition. However, the reports also indicate that Google's ad business will be a major point brought up in the Justice Department's case. The report indicated that the case could be brought forward as soon as this summer. Wow! So that's just around the corner. In fact, in a statement to the WSJ, which known as the Wall Street Journal, in March, Attorney General William Barr said, "I'm hoping that we bring it to fruition early summer, and by fruition, I mean decision time." Both the federal and state antitrust investigations into Google are still ongoing as the people and involved gather more information. While there has been no official decision yet, the report indicates that litigation is likely. Of course, there's always a chance that the government's investigation could lead to an agreement with Google outside of court, but only time will tell if that ends up being the case. Ooh, so that's so this is some big news coming up here. And so as for the summer, we will definitely see, and I will be following the story here on the Leon LeGrave podcast, find out if this is going to come to light or what, because as everybody may know how Google is running right now, I mean, this is a huge monopoly of a company, and how they're running this business. We will have to find out how this goes. And I know last year I haven't kept up too much on their case, but I know that does lead everyone asking a lot of questions about this, how this is going to continue on moving forward. But however, we will definitely see how this will go on with the antitrust investigations against Google. So, however this goes, we will find out from there on too. But anyways, if you like this quick update and quick news on here on the Leon LeGrave podcast, and if there's anything that you didn't hear on today's segment, please let me know. I'll have my email down below on the description, and let me know what to cover from here from next on next podcast from here too. And also this coming Wednesday, I'll be working on part 3 on the history of computers and technology moving forward. So if you like what you hear, please also put down a review and make sure let me know what you think about today's episode or any of the previous episodes I have covered on from here too. So that being said, thanks for checking out the Leon LeGrave podcast. I'm always active on social media, on Twitter, Mastodon, VK, you name it. I am everywhere else. So that being said, thank you for listening. You guys have a great day wherever you're listening to me on, and peace out.